It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia is my favorite show of all time. So let's go back to the start, back in 2005, and rank the episodes in season 1. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a good one today. I'm the movie ranker, and today I'm not going to be ranking movies. I'm going to be ranking the episodes of season 1 of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. This is my favorite show of all time. Season 16 just got a release date, June 7th. Really excited about that. It's now the longest running live action sitcom of all time. Of course, the first season is not the best, but there's still a few hidden gems in there. They just didn't have that big of a budget at the time. No one really knew about the show. It wasn't promoted properly. And they didn't have their star power, Danny DeVito. So without wasting any more time, let's rank all 7 episodes from season 1. So kicking things off in last place, at number 7, we have The Gang Gets Racist. What a way to start off season 1. The funny part about this episode is not the fact that the gang's racist. Of course that's not funny. It's the fact they don't realize they're racist. They're completely oblivious to it. They come off ignorant and everything, but to them they're innocent. And that's where the jokes lie. And the other funny part about this episode is how Dee's new boyfriend makes Patty's Pub popular. And they're all happy, they're making money, but they don't realize they're popular because they're the hottest gay bar in Philadelphia. And it's just so funny how Dennis is kind of against it until he starts getting so much attention at the bar, being the bartender, and everybody wants to tip him and that. And it's like, he's just loving it, you know? And he's not gay at all. He just loves the attention until the final act where he ends up in bed with a bunch of guys unwillingly after being drunk. And you get that whole funny line, "How's that ass feel?" Just a great way to finish off the episode. Up next at number 6, we have Gun Fever. Now it pains me to put this episode in second last place because this was my gateway into It's Always Sunny. I caught the show maybe on season 2 or 3, but they were still putting reruns of the first season on cable. And I caught this episode. I'm like, what wacky show is this? And there's not a whole lot to this episode. It doesn't go really deep. It's mostly just showing how the gang, every time one of them handles the gun or whatever, they get addicted to the power it brings. You know, how people would fear them and listen to them once they have this gun. And it's just hilarious, especially a scene with Charlie lifting his shirt and he has a gun under his belt buckle. And, you know, the landlord's like backing off because he thinks Charlie's going to shoot him or something. And he's like, "I'll have my money." And it's just moments like that that are so funny when they go in the basement in the shooting range and they're all just having a blast. And I love how the episode ends, how Charlie gets shot and they're all like, "We have to get rid of this gun." But as soon as Dee walks out of the room, they're like, "We can't get rid of this gun." It's just friggin' hilarious. Up next at number 5, we have Charlie Has Cancer. Now in this episode, we're introduced to 2 iconic characters, one being Carmen, the tranny. And it's so funny how Mac starts going with, wants to be with her. Then he finds out she's really a dude, but then he just doesn't stop hanging out with her. It's just so funny. And how people keep walking in on them and they're like watching football and that. And he's like, "I just want to put my time in, you know. She's going to get the operation." It's just so funny. And we also get Artemis. Another great character introduced in here. She's doing the whole Coyote Ugly thing. And it's just so funny given her body type, right? And Dennis is just not having it. But of course, at the core of our story is Charlie faking having cancer so that the waitress will feel bad for him and maybe sleep with him. It's a really dark angle. And it's just funny how Mac and Dennis keep trying to get Charlie with the waitress and they just keep screwing it up, you know, throughout the entire thing. And it just makes for a lot of laughs. Up next at number 4, we have The Gang Finds a Dead Guy. So in this one, they find a dead guy in the bar, and this young girl comes and says that that's her grandfather. And it's just hilarious how Mac and Dennis lie their asses off pretending like they knew her grandfather just to get closer to her. You know, these are some sick bastards. But what makes this episode so good is the nursing home scenes with Pop-Up. We get introduced to Pop-Up for the very first time, Dee and Dennis's grandfather. And Dee is just so scared to go to nursing homes. It's so funny. She's freaked out about old people. And the way she like screams and going on is so funny. And when she finally does get to go visit Pop Up, he's like sticking his finger in her mouth and everything. It's so disgusting. And on top of that, Pop Up thinks that Charlie is Dennis. And he's like trying to give him all of his treasure, which is really Nazi stuff we find out in the end. And it's just hilarious how Charlie puts on the whole suit and he's like eating a banana and that when they go to his apartment. And it ends with them burning all the Nazi stuff, telling Dennis the truth. But the little twist at the end is Charlie keeping the hat, the Nazi hat. Just so funny. These guys are so good at taking controversial subjects and turning them into comedy gold. Now, reaching our top 3, I have Charlie wants an abortion. Another funny one. This girl tells Charlie that he is the father of her kid. And he essentially uses that kid to try to get closer to the waitress, like always. And obviously, it doesn't work out in his favor. The kid is so annoying and he accidentally gets drunk in the bar. And it totally blows Charlie's chances with the waitress when he's puking and everything. It's so funny. But the best part of this episode is actually takes place at the abortion rally with Dennis and Mac over there trying to pick up girls at an abortion rally, and each of them on different sides. And what if Jesus was aborted? I think that sign is just so hilarious. And it's funny when Dennis decides to try his luck on the other side of the rally and he gets stuck in between and everybody's shooting eggs at him. It just makes for a friggin' hilarious episode, especially the way it ends with the girl telling Mac that she's pregnant. And he's like, you have to get an abortion. When he was fighting against that. Man, comedy gold. Up next, at number 2, we got Charlie Gets Molested. Now, in this episode, we get introduced to the McPoyles for the very first time. Bathrobes and all. Both of them were in the shower when Charlie goes to meet them at their place. So funny. And they're trying to say that they were molested as kids in school by this coach, which was not true at all. They're just trying to make money off of it. And they're kind of bringing Charlie's name in there as well. And the funniest part about this episode is the way that Mac is so mad that he didn't get molested. He didn't get touched as a kid. He's like, they touched the McPoyles, they touched Charlie, why didn't they touch me? It's like so funny. It's really sick and controversial subject matter, but the way that the gang writes these episodes, they do it in such a brilliant way that doesn't come off as offensive or really bad, because they write their characters as pieces of shit. They always get what's coming to them. And it's funny that the coach that they're accusing is actually the principal from Saved by the Bell. I'm like, oh, another older actor that everybody knows in here. And it's crazy for season 1, you know, you don't really expect that. But the highlight of this episode has to be when they have the intervention with Charlie and his whole family's there and the McPoyles, and they're like, show us on the doll where he touched you. It's just so funny. Uncle Jack, we get to meet him for the very first time, and he's just like, do it. He's like, turn it around. He flips it. So damn funny, man. But easily coming in the first place for me on season 1 is underage drinking, a national concern. This episode was just hitting on all cylinders, whether we're talking about the dialogue, the subject matter, everything just worked out perfectly. And the gang lets a bunch of young teens into their bar. They act like it's a safe haven, you know, and they're making a bunch of money off them. And really, all it is the gang is just happy that they're popular again. They're like, wow, because no one gave a shit about them in school. That it's just funny that these kids bring them joy. They're like, man, we're cool again. We got friends again. When it's just like the kids are using you to get drinks. There's just so many funny things about this episode. Whether it's Charlie with all the gossip and that he knows everything about the kids, or Dennis getting blackmailed and going to the prom. And Charlie and Dee also getting invited to the prom and not Mac. So he's going solo. It's so friggin' funny how they have the pre-prom dance or reunion at the bar, out of all places. Man, I could just keep going on for days with this episode. It's just full of gold. It pairs really well with a season 7 episode where they have their high school reunion. A lot of callbacks to this episode, like Nicky Potnick and all that stuff. I just feel like this episode was easily the best of the season. It felt more like the writing that we'll come to see in like season 3 and season 4. It, like I said, it was just hitting on all cylinders. All the jokes land. All the characters are really well written. I don't know how they take these really touchy subjects and just make them comedy gold. So there you have it, guys. There's my ranking of all 7 episodes from season 1 of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, the greatest show of all time. And I'm not even a big TV guy, but this is the one show I always return to, seen all the episodes over 100 times, and it never gets old. Huge fan of this. I'll be back with season 2 ranking pretty soon. I want to try to get these all out before season 16 comes out, or at least have most of them done by then. And if you guys enjoyed this content, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss out on any future rankings. And until next time, guys, thanks for watching.